the actual, this is the Get Online paper, if you need this for whatever reason. Suppose if you're using 3G, you don't need to worry about the Wi-Fi or 4G or whatever. The latest, greatest. Okay. Whoa, all right. Let's rock and roll here. Double your productivity using Microsoft Outlook. How many of you are using Outlook here? That's all? Are you guys just busy, distracted? How many of you are using version 2003? 2007? Okay, still hanging out there. 2010? More people. How about 2013? Nobody, okay. I'm going to be using 2010, and I have to make that decision with Outlook because it's not like Office, Word, PowerPoint, Excel, you have to use, in Outlook, you have to use only one version per laptop. So I could bring 3 laptops, I suppose. Have a different version for each laptop. That's just the way it works because Outlook uses that, I think it's a PST file or whatever, to access all of the email. And you can only have one version of Outlook on your computer. You can have multiple versions of Office, the other stuff. Okay. And we will have time for Q&A. I'll try to make time for Q&A for this one. Double your productivity using Microsoft Outlook. Oh, the places you'll go once you master time management and Outlook and happiness. All right, so I'm going to cover setting up Outlook, just a couple quick things for maximum productivity. I'm not going to go deep into the quick access toolbar, but I highly recommend you use that thing and minimize the ribbon a lot because it's just more efficient and faster. So how to have an empty email inbox at the close of business every day and still be able to find what you need instantly. Is that a nice promise? Sounds good, right? Even if you don't use Outlook, because I know a number of you said you don't, or you didn't raise your hand, you're still going to learn some stuff here that you can use in Lotus Notes or whatever other program. But it is more specific to Outlook during this session. I'm going to show you a really cool way to load instantly email templates in Outlook that's highly overlooked by a lot of people. And how to more powerfully manage different types of contacts, emails, appointments, etc. If you have a laptop and you want to open it up and work with me, that's fine. It's not really a hands-on seminar, but you have the handout, and there are a few fill in the blanks on this one, not as many as the last session. I'm going to be working more in Outlook during this session. But if you want them, and you give me your email address, I will send you the PDF with the answers. We're getting a little too technical with the QR codes, and it's all good. It's all good. You'll have the handout with the answers. If you give me your email address, I'll send it to you, a PDF with the answers, within 48 hours. Give me a little bit of time. And then merging emails. You can merge emails right out of Outlook into Word, which is really cool. So if you want to send a customized merged emailing, instead of using a group, like a contact group, now they're called contact groups. They used to be a distribution list where you'd send it to 25 people and you'd put that distribution list in the CC field or BCC field. By the way, I highly recommend please put it in the BCC field so you're not spreading everyone else's email addresses all over the world. That's invasion of privacy, right? So if you're going to do that, if you're going to send this to 15 people, put those addresses in the BCC field so that when they reply all, whatever, everybody doesn't get everybody's email addresses, and then you're more likely to possibly start getting more spam. It just happens. But when you merge a group, and you can quickly find a group in Outlook, which I'm going to show you how to do, you can send a merged 50 people's email addresses, and it sends 50 separate emails, one at a time, to the outbox in Outlook, but you compose it in Word. So their first name is merged, and their email address is in the to field. Every one of them merged, so it's more personalized. Dear Joe Blow, comma, return, message, footer, 50 of them go automatically. You compose once, and it merges their first name in. It's great. A lot of people don't know that or don't use it. It's really great. Before you start using like Constant Contact, I think Mike's going to talk about that. Mike Coleman's a colleague of mine. We talk about, I think, Constant Contact. It's a great program, but be short of that. If you want to do it yourself, using Outlook to merge certain groups of people, great. So setting up Outlook for maximum productivity, just a couple things here. On the top of page 2 of your handout, those of you who have a handout, sorry for those who don't, that's okay, just follow along here. A couple things to do is on the very bottom here, bottom left, if you can see the screen. If you can't see the screen, okay, if you're like me and you need readers and you can't see and you want to learn something, we got 15 seats in the front row here, okay? Nobody's sitting up here. So get up and move your butt if you need to see. If I were you, I mean, these are the $1 million seats. If you want to learn something, you know, I always try to get to the front of the room. I'm just a freak, I guess. But so if you cannot see, please move up. In fact, you can even put chairs over here and stuff because that's the purpose, to learn something, right? And it's going to be some great information, trust me. So, all right, see these gigantic fat icons in the bottom left of your screen there? That's a waste of real estate in Outlook. Why do you want those things wasting a bunch of real estate? And most people have all these other buttons showing. I only have 2 here. I have calendar and folder list. But if you click that little tiny triangle on the bottom right there, you can see it, that's how you can add or remove buttons, see? For all the different modules in Outlook, calendar, contacts, tasks, email, etc. I only have 2, and I minimize them. So instead of having these big, giant, fat, wasting real estate of your monitor open, you hover between the icons and above the icons until you see the cursor change to the plus, minus, or it's like, looks like an equal sign with an arrow pointing up and an arrow pointing down, right? You got that? That's a resize icon or handlebar, and you click and drag that down, and they convert into mini icons. So now a whole row of little mini icons are there. You can still access all these different modules, but you don't have these gigantic fat icons that are wasting real estate, because you might have a bunch of folders in here that you want to be able to see without having to scroll any more than you have to. Does that make sense? So minimize this thing, and I would recommend only using calendar and folder list. The only reason I use calendar is because if you have multiple calendars that you're managing, you need to be able to turn them on or off with the checkboxes. So you can't do that in folder list, but I recommend people use folder list, and that's where I am right now, because everything is available here. And you can drag and drop emails to turn them into an appointment, turn them into a task, turn them into a contact, etc., dragging and dropping right from your email inbox. Calendar, if I have multiple calendars, I can have these checkboxes, and you can turn on multiple calendars and see them right next to each other or overlapping, etc. You cannot do that, though, if you only have the folder list showing. So I have calendar and folder list. So that's just the setup part. Click on calendar. There we go. Okay. Now, I have an inbox here of just bogus emails from way back when that I use for training. And get back to PowerPoint here and see what we're going to do. We're going to give you some great information here that I've learned from years of teaching Outlook and time management longer than Outlook. 6 major key points, 6 Ds for handling email, and automation rules to automatically filter out some email. And some of the stuff you might already know, that's fine. Just, pass by it and just take what works for you. Write down notes if you don't have a handout. Key point number 1 is question. What is your comfort zone maximum number of emails to have in your email box at any one time? You know what I mean? It's like you get to a certain point, maybe you get 500 emails and you're like, you know what, I got to get rid of this stuff. Or 1,000, right? Or it's like you're at threshold and it's like, okay, time to clean this stuff up, right? Time to get rid of this stuff. It's like a thermostat, right? Keeps you at a nice, comfortable zone. If it gets too hot, air conditioning turns on. If it gets too cold, heater turns on. Keeps you in that range. Well, your number, I hope, is 0, but a lot of people's is, several hundred or thousands. I was doing training for Capital One Bank, and one of the attendees said he had 16,000 emails in his inbox. Oops. So my goal for you is 0. 0. Every day at the end of every day. Okay? That's how it should look. And that is how mine looks right now. If I pop over there, I just check my email. That's training. This is my real inbox. I've got Sheila Wilson's, who just emailed me, right? The picture for the password for the internet access in this room here. That's all I have right now. So that's my goal for you, 0. Now, think about your physical mailbox at home, right? How many of you, do you know anybody that opens up your mailbox at home, pulls it all out, kind of quickly goes through it, and then shoves it all back in there? Anybody do that? Most people don't, right? If you do that, what happens? It starts piling up, and before you know it, you're buried in mail, physical mail, right? Well, why do we do something different with our email inbox? Same problem. So here's major key point number 1. Your inbox is a collection device, not a storage device. So if you have a handout, or you don't, just write it down. Your inbox is a collection device, not a storage device. We don't store email in the inbox. It's not made for that. It induces stress, and we want less stress. We want to have a management system to put all this email somewhere that's going to either pop up in a predictable way in the future on my calendar, or on a task list, or delete it, or forward it to somebody else to take care of, or whatever. We're going to get to that. So, point number 2, and this is obvious, but unsubscribe or opt out to anything you don't read or haven't read in the last 3 months, because chances are you're probably never going to read it in the future, right? Newsletters, account updates, one-time purchases. Have you ever purchased one thing one time and then you keep getting stuff every day from them? Vistaprint comes to mind. I love Vistaprint. I buy stuff, business cards, Vistaprint. However, I don't want their sales every other day in my inbox. So I made a rule, which we're going to get to, that puts all those, because I don't want to delete them. I want to have the ability to save 80% on my printing when I'm ready to print, right? So I make a rule that puts all of Vistaprint's emails in my deleted items folder without permanently deleting it, just putting it into my deleted items folder so that when I'm ready to go buy some printing, I go into my deleted items folder and I view by date, and I find the most recent Vistaprint sale. So I get the best of all worlds here. So I'm getting the email that I want when I want, and it's not distracting my brain, because you only have so much RAM, mental RAM, in my inbox. I never have to see it anymore. But it's there if and when I want to. Most legitimate emails that you get will have a unsubscribe button, opt out, something like that. If it doesn't, then, it's probably not legitimate. You better be careful what you click on. Constant Contact's legitimate, iContact, Emma, all these are professional email management companies for managing your newsletter and click-throughs and all that stuff. Mike's going to talk more about that. When in doubt, though, don't click, delete it instead, because it could contain a virus or who knows. Never open up an exe file that somebody sends you, even if it's your best friend. A .exe is an executable that could contain some ugly software, because it can do who knows what to your system. You can add their email address to the blocked senders list, but if you just keep getting too much of that stuff, you're just doing that all day too. One little sidebar tip that I have discovered is I forward a lot of my email to a Gmail account, because Gmail does pretty good at filtering spam. So when I check my Gmail account, even though David@DavidHumes.com goes to a Gmail account that I check on Outlook, and it's like a double filter. It pre-filters a lot of spam before I even get it, which is nice. So you might want to think about doing something like that. Forward all your mail to a Gmail account, check your Gmail on Outlook, and it's easy to set up Gmail to check in Outlook, and then that'll save you a lot of spam and junk. But if you want to include something in your, like something like this, if I want to mark it as spam, I right-click on it. I'm in my inbox. I right-click on it, and I go down to junk, and then block sender is one way to do it. Block sender. Right-click, junk, block sender. Okay? Point number 3, never check email first thing in the morning. Kind of goes in with the super achiever stuff, right? You don't want to wake up and check your email and then start putting out fires all day without getting your ritual done in the morning, right? Your habits, your routine that is going to make you successful more long term. Putting in your 90-minute sprint session. As soon as you check that email, it's over. Fires begin. So wait at least an hour. Use the concept of block time, which we talked about earlier as well. To block out 30 minutes to do email maybe. Schedule it. That's the next one. Number 4, schedule when you're going to check, process email. The less, the better. If you've read The 4-Hour Work Week by Timothy Ferriss, he recommends checking it twice a day, 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock, because any business day, that's 4 hours either way, right? 10 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon. If you get back at any of those times, that's 4 hours maximum, which is generally accepted in business, depending on your business model and your job, and if that's possible for you, the less the better. I know you're not doing that while you're at court reporting, right? You guys aren't. You're talking about major focus. I mean, I'm amazed at how you guys can even hear certain people talk, with their language or lack thereof and witnesses and stuff. I'm surprised they don't, this is totally off course here, but I'm like, why don't they record it and, like digitally record it, the sound, and have use as kind of a backup? I don't know why they don't do that. It's weird. But, we don't want to, job security, don't worry about that. I thought that about drummers, drum machines. Not true. I mean, it's just adding to the awesomeness of everything. So you got to think the pie gets bigger rather than there's a limited pie. You got to think unlimited, not, it's all good. Okay, point number 5, turn off the auto check email every 5 to 30 minutes so that you're not distracted every 5 minutes checking email, right? And you get those little alarms and stuff. And to do that in 2010, Outlook 2010, you go to the File menu, Options, Advanced, Send, Receive. File, Options, Advanced, Send, Receive. File, Options, Advanced. Scroll down a little bit, get to Send, Receive. Click that button, and then you have the options here, just like if you're familiar with 2003. It says schedule an automatic send receive every 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever it is. Unless it's mandated by your job, deselect that checkbox. This is putting you in control. And we want to gain control of the events in our lives, right? Be more masterful of time management, happier, sense of more control equals more happiness in our life. So we don't want to do it that way. What we want to do instead is hit the F9 key on your keyboard. That's send and receive all messages in Outlook. F9. I'm huge on keyboard shortcuts too. Another thing I'm going to promise you is if you give me your email address, I'm going to send you a PDF that's 2 sides. It's a 2-page PDF. You can put back to back, laminate it, put it next to your computer, of the minimum mandatory universal shortcuts that everybody should have down, and then Outlook shortcuts as well, okay? So if you get those down, if you get the top 20 or 30 shortcuts down, they say you're going to increase your productivity 20 to 100% just by getting those keyboard shortcuts down. So why wouldn't you want to do that? Take a few minutes to master those. Boom, you're going to increase your productivity 20 to 100%. F9 is send, receive when you're ready, when you decide to check email, not automatically. So we want to turn off the auto stuff. Send, receive. F9. Finally, number 6, turn off all alerts. Turn off all alerts, sound alert, mouse cursor, envelope icon, new mail, desktop alert. All those distractions are killing your productivity. Now, you can turn off the main global distractions and then have a specific important boss, judge, customer, client, whatever, pop up when they give you an email, certain people, family members that for emergencies or whatever, right? So you can have your global settings, and then you can have individual email addresses that, yes, I do want to be interrupted for those, maybe. I don't even do those, but you can if you want, okay? Just so you know. So you set the globals under File Options, Mail, Mail Arrival, and then turn off, back to Outlook real quick, File, Options, Mail, and right here, Message Arrival. I have all those deselected. Unselect those checkboxes. Play a sound, briefly change the mouse cursor, pointer, show an envelope icon in the taskbar, display a desktop alert. No, 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 no. I don't want any of that stuff because I'm in control. At least I try to think I am, right? Turn all those things off. So, to wrap up the 6 major key points, your inbox is a collection device, not a storage device. Unsubscribe, opt out to anything you don't read in the last 3 months. Wait 1 hour before checking email in the morning. Use block time to get things done. No distractions but that. Focused on that. Maybe a mini sprint session. Schedule checking your email at certain times throughout the day if possible. Turn off auto check email and turn off all alerts. That's the 6 major key points. Next is the 6 Ds for handling email. This is how you're going to have an empty email inbox at the end of each day and intelligently tell your email what to do, where to go, when to pop up in your face when you want it. Okay? First, delete. The first D, top of page 3 if you have a handout, is delete it. Over 80% of all stored hard files, those are physical files, will never be looked at ever again. Over 80%. Over 95% will never be looked at again. Email. Stored email, over 95% will never be looked at again. So, here's the question, how can we delete more and store less? How can we delete more and store less? Ask this great question. How easy would it be to replace it? Is it stored on a server somewhere, or can I just go to Google and find it that way? Okay, is it on the internet? And here's a great question. Will this cost me time, money, or put me in jail? Great question, right? Will this cost me time, money, or put me in jail? And if the answer is no, then delete it. If it won't cost you time, money, or put you in jail, delete it. Great question. Okay? Delete, delete, delete. Now, a quick way to delete if you have 500 or 1,000 or 10,000 emails right now in your inbox is to sort sort by from, and then just by clicking on the top column there, and you sort by who it's from. You click on the first one in a group or a batch of emails that you know you want to get rid of, and then you hold down the Shift key, and I hope everybody knows that, but I know an admin friend of mine, executive administrative assistant, who did not know this shortcut. Blows my mind. I learned this in 1988 when I got my first Mac Plus, and I was using Working with Works, Microsoft Works. I don't know if anybody remember that program. But I actually bought a book and went through the whole thing, and that was one of the things that was really cool. It's like, wherever you are in any program, Microsoft Excel, any list in a desktop, in Outlook, in Word, if you click here, and then you hold down Shift, and you click somewhere else, you select everything in between those 2 clicks, okay? So all I do is I move my cursor down to where I want to select, hold down Shift, click, and then I just selected all those emails, and then I hit the delete key on my keyboard or the little X at the top there. Okay? So you sort by from, and you go through that list. You're going to get rid of half your stuff in no time doing this. Then you can sort by subject, same thing. You click on the first one in the grouping, Shift click the last one in the grouping of emails. You go, yeah, I don't want any of that junk, and then hit delete, right? So you just got rid of probably more than 50% of your email just using this one technique. Number 2, D of the 6 Ds is do it. Reply to it. And here's the general rule. If it'll take less than 2 minutes, do it now. If it'll take less than 2 minutes, do it now. If it'll take more than 2 minutes, you may want to schedule it or put it on a task list, right? Because by the time you schedule it, if it's going to take less than 2 minutes, it's going to take you maybe 2 minutes to schedule it, and figure out when you want to do it, what time, and all that stuff. So just do it. Just get it done. We only have so much mental RAM. If it'll take more than 2 minutes, try one of the following. The next D is delay it. This is called intelligent procrastination, right? Intentional, intelligent procrastination. Schedule it on your calendar. So for example, I've got this email right here, and I want to reply to this, but not right now. I don't want to throw it away. I don't want it to fall through the cracks. I want to schedule it for next Wednesday. So what do? I drag it. Since I'm viewing using the folder list that I told you about earlier, I can see all the modules here, and I click and drag to calendar. And I let go of the mouse. Boom, it turns that email into an appointment. Cool. And I change the day to next Wednesday. And what time do I want to reply to this? Maybe 10 in the morning. And here's the whole email message that I can select, delete, whatever. Select it all, delete it, okay? Put a different message there, whatever. You can add a category. A reminder. I might want to be reminded for this, 0 minutes, right at that time, or 5 minutes before maybe. And then I save and close. Oh, by the way, I know this looks a little different than maybe you're used to because I double-click on any tab to minimize the ribbon. I like to work with the ribbon minimized, not when I'm training, but when I'm in high productive mode, because I like maximum real estate, and I don't like those big fat ribbons clogging my view and distracting me. So to maximize or minimize any ribbon you're in, because there's multiple ribbons, you have a different ribbon for each module, and then each task, tasks look different than the calendar events ribbon. Okay, so you can double-click on any tab, and that will show it. Double-click, and that'll hide it. And if you just click on a tab once, it'll show, and click again, it'll hide. Without double-clicking, just click, wait a second or two, click, and it stays hiding. But you double-click real fast, and it'll stay showing. And you've got your ribbon there. Okay, so save and close. And it gives you the shortcut there too sometimes. I think it's Alt-S for save and close, which I'm going to give you that if you want it. Save and close. And now it's basically out of sight, out of mind. It's on my calendar though. And if I go to next Wednesday, there it is. 10 o'clock, email to handle. I open that up and I know what I need to do. Okay, so I turned it into an appointment. Drag it to the calendar, turns it into an appointment. Number 4D is turning it into a task. If you use tasks in Outlook, not everybody does, but if you use tasks to manage your daily to-do list, then, it's called multiple names, different names, to-do list, honey-do list, action list, prioritize daily action list, whatever you call it. But in Outlook, if you drag it to tasks, it's going to turn it into a task.